Hey guys, Wilbur Williams here, and today I will be discussing ways Germany could not have won the Second World War. Now, I've gotten these from a website called Listverse, and they're 10 ways Germany could have won the Second World War. And their first point is that Germany should have invaded the United Kingdom instead of the USSR. Firstly, I just want to say there's no way the Germans could have done this, at least in a reasonable time, because of the lack of ships in the Kriegsmarine and the inability to gain total air control over the UK. Another thing I hear usually is that Hitler should have used paratroopers, which most definitely would have failed. Looking at the Luftwaffe's amazing attempts at making airlifts in Tunisia and Stalingrad, supplies wouldn't have been able to get into the hands of the invasion force if they were even able to land. Another issue with this would be the lack of armored support from an airborne invasion, which would have resulted in them getting slaughtered. For their second point is Hitler should not have declared war on America, which the issue with this is FDR would have found a way to get involved on the side of the British regardless. And another thing is if the Germans didn't fight America, they would still eventually use due to the Soviet Union. Alternate History Hub did a very good video on this. I think it's called What If Pearl Harbor Didn't Happen? So yeah, you should check him out. Their third point is something really serious, and it's Hitler could have won if he didn't do the Holocaust. I'm just gonna say it. With Hitler in charge of the Holocaust, would it never not happen? With Himmler and the High Command along with Goebbels, the Holocaust was a sad, horrible inevitability. The fourth point is that Japan should have went to war with the Soviet Union instead of Germany. This wouldn't make any sense for Japan to do, as by the time they went to war with America, they were already at war with the UK, France, and other nations that were colonizers of Eastern Asia. By this time, they were very overextended, with most of their forces in the islands in China. There would be no way for them to successfully beat the Soviets in that area. At one point, they did try with a border conflict, but it was promptly won by the Soviets. It's another reason why they kept securing non-aggression pacts with the Soviet Union. For me, this next one is probably one of the dumbest ones on the list, with it being Hitler shouldn't have intervened in military strategy. The reason I say this is because it's one of the most common excuses in the memoirs of German generals who want a scapegoat for their horrible defeats. The role Hitler took in military strategy is greatly over-exaggerated. Him not intervening with it would probably do nothing in the grand scheme of things. And yeah. This next one is Hitler not bombing the UK cities, because if he kept degrading their defenses, they could be invaded. This I discussed earlier in What If They Just Invaded the UK, but to reiterate, if the British were weakened greatly, it still would not have been possible for the Germans to invade. Again, they would not have the capability to supply, they would not have the logistics, they don't have the ships, they just don't have the amount of resources necessary to land on the home island and beat out the UK. And I'm just gonna skip some of these reasons because they're not really worth talking about. The one I am gonna discuss is what if Hitler wiped out the force at Dunkirk? Potential history in one of his videos debunking how Hitler could have won World War II made much better points than I can right now, but essentially the losses at Dunkirk would have been mitigated by 1944. If the Germans had successfully killed them all, Operation Overlord would definitely be delayed, but they would still probably like a few months later, they probably still would have been able to invade Germany. And another issue with this is, by Dunkirk, the Germans were tired, the tank crews were tired, the infantry were tired. It was constant fighting through France, I doubt they would have legitimately been able to mount up enough resistance to destroy the British forces. Anyways, guys, I hope you have a great weekend. This was just a topic I've wanted to do for a little while. I hope to get another video out next week, maybe next Wednesday. But anyways, I hope you guys have a great week and a great rest of the month.